My thought for the day is a picture paints 1,000 words. I'm not a huge photographer. I've been to India 3 times, and the first 2 wanderings of the land, I took no photographs whatsoever. However, I do like to look at photographs, and I was going through the album the other day, and I came across a photograph that made me smile. It must have been taken by my daughter, because it's my son and I dressed up, and she was too, to go and see Harry Potter. We were dressed to go to see Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. It was the premiere at the IMAX Theatre in 2005. It was the first time that I'd ever been to the IMAX Theatre up in Harrisburg, because in those days I didn't live in Scotland, I lived in the United States of America. So I said to my children, keep your eyes peeled, because I don't really know where I'm going and we need to find a car park. So we saw the signs and we got to this multi-storey car park, drove on, inside, got out, and there we were, 2 wizards and a witch, dressed for the premiere, and we walked past an attendant who was sitting in a little booth, who looked at us, we looked at him, and off we went to the theatre. Now, to get inside the theatre, we had to go through a shopping centre. We went, stood in line. At midnight, they opened up the doors and we watched the show. Loved it. And then we came out, and when we came out of the movie theatre, we noticed that the way to the shopping centre, the doors were closed and locked, and everybody was making their way to this lift, to the elevator. In we all got. We went down 1 level, the doors opened, and everyone walked out into a car park. Now, we weren't parked in that car park. We were the only ones left in the lift. We pressed the button, it went all of the way down to the ground level. And when it opened, we walked out onto a street that I didn't recognise. It was about 2:30 in the morning. And I suddenly realised if you wanted to grab hold of a wizard, you just stand on his cloak and he can't move very far. And I thought to myself, we need to get to the car, because I don't know this city, I don't know where we are, and I want to keep my children and myself safe. Now, my son is phenomenal with directions. He can just smell his way. My daughter was dawdling behind, and I'm like, come on, we need to get to the car. So my son said, follow me, it's this way. And sure enough, he led us right the way to the car park where our car was parked. And when we set eyes on it, I went, oh no. Because the car park was closed. Oh, you could walk inside of it. It was just you couldn't drive out of it. There was this grill that had been pulled all of the way down, and there was a big hefty padlock on it. And I'm like, oh my goodness, how are we going to get home? There were neon lights shining so brightly in that car park, and I thought, there's no way we'll sleep in the car tonight. And I had said to my children, you need to go to school tomorrow, because I'd taken them out already for so many days. I would take them out for the fairy festival, and we would go to the Healing Spirit dance on sacred Cherokee land down in Alabama each year. And they had so many days off for educational placement. I had said, well, although I think Harry Potter is a great education for us all, you need to go to school. So I needed to get them home so they could have some sleep. And I'm thinking, how do we get out of this car park? So I said to the children, get in. I started up the engine. They said, Dad, where are you going? Well, there was levels going up, and I knew that would be no good for us, but there was also a level going down. Now, we don't have this as much here in Scotland, but in the United States, there are so many houses that will have a front door that is on one level, and then you go down into a basement and a back door takes you outside on a different level. And so when I drove down, there was a barrier and an exit way from this new level. Great! Well, not quite, because I said there was a barrier, and so there was. It was for permit holders only. And I'm thinking to myself, where are we going to find a permit holder at 2:30 in the morning? Now my son, he jumps out of the car, he runs to the barrier and he starts pulling it. And I'm like, no, don't break the barrier. Now I was looking at where the barrier was and where there was a gap after it. However, there was a very high curb going up onto a pavement, and there was a wall, a building that was built close by. And I'm thinking, is there enough room for me to drive up on the pavement and get out? So I had my son guiding me. We had to tuck in the wing mirrors, and he's like, yeah, come on. And it was so tight on either side. Up onto the pavement I went, and very carefully and very slowly I edged my way through this gap until I was outside and on the road, and in he jumped and off we drove, and we laughed. I said, someone's going to go to work tomorrow and they'll put on the security cameras and they'll look and they'll see that 2 wizards and a witch escaped without paying from the car park. It was a beautiful story that made us laugh and brought great joy into our lives, as did the Harry Potter books. I'm very thankful for J.K. Rowling, because all of those books I got to read to my children. Well, for the first 5 books, I read every single word to both of them. However, the last 2 books, my daughter, she was as keen as I was to get a copy at midnight and delve straight into it. However, my son is dyslexic. And so reading a big, thick book like Harry Potter was incredibly challenging. And when your dad's a storyteller and he does all of the voices, it was very appealing for him to come and sit on the bed and listen to every single word of all 7 books. And what I love is that he was close to 18 when the last Harry Potter book came out. And it's a treasured memory that I got to share all of the words, using all of the voices and the characters. And we laughed and we cried together. And we had such a phenomenal experience in the world of Harry Potter. I hope you enjoyed today looking at a photograph, or perhaps it's a painting that's hanging on your wall that has memorable stories of a day that you experienced with magic in it. Many blessings on this beautiful day.